Hey guys, my name is Mama Dasher and I make tech videos. So in this particular video by popular request, we'll be taking a look at how to build the private messaging feature onto your Bubble.is application. Before I begin with this tutorial, I'd like to add that if this is your first time with building an application on Bubble, I would highly recommend you guys to go check out my crash course on Bubble on Skillshare. It's free to begin with, so if this is your first time, there's a lot of terminologies that I believe you guys will understand. So if this is your first time, you'll not understand a lot of terminologies that I'm talking about. So it's highly recommended to go check that tutorial out and then come back here. So with that being said, I'm guessing you guys have some basic experience with Bubble. So with that understood and out of the way, let's begin with this tutorial. So I just built a basic UI and the repetitive stuff before I began with this video in order to not bore you guys with the same stuff over and over again. So basic stuff like login and sign up thing, you can check out the workflow. I'm not gonna explain all of the stuff because I've done this so many times. So yeah, basically what I did is I just created the login stuff and then it takes you to the home page. I don't really have anything here but except a link that takes you to message page, which is basically what we're gonna work with today. Yeah, the logout button, of course. So next thing is, let me go to the message page, which is the main page that we're going to be messing with. Let me change the page title to something that's more appropriate and suiting. Anyway, so this is the home page. What I did is I basically I have added two groups here. One is the group which will display the body of the message and from whom and everything, where the user can take action and actually interact with the message, and this is the place which will display all the conversations or the messages, and this will display not display, but this will actually allow the user to change the category of message. Inbox will display all the messages that the user has received, and outbox will display all the messages that the user has sent or created. So yeah, that's basically about the UI basic text here, button here that takes you to the pop-up. I've actually created a pop-up instead of a different page for it in order to make the UX, uh, the number of pages less, and in order to not bore the user up. So I basically created a pop-up with a simple text area, and basically these things are placeholders. So instead of sender, it will be the name of the person that will appear. So I have not created the data set or not done anything with that, no workflows whatsoever. These are the same stuff. Like the send doesn't have anything here. It's basically logout, and I only added the workflow for logout, which I presume you guys already know. So that's all I did, and drop down basic stuff. So if you're familiar with Bubble, these things will not be really hard for you to follow. So yeah, let's begin with the data set here, which is the most important stuff. Really simple stuff on the user thing, on the user data type. I just added two extra stuff here. The avatar will display the of course, the profile picture or the avatar of the user, and the username is optional. Of course, this is actually this will be really helpful in the future. I'll tell you why, because in Bubble.is, the primary way of referencing to another user, let's say for instance in Instagram, if a user is typing on a comment, okay, the way you can reply to that person is by mentioning the at symbol, followed by the username of the profile that the user owns on Instagram, right? That's how you primarily reference users on Instagram, right? That's also the way you do it on Twitter or any other popular social media. But on Bubble.is, by default, the way you reference a user is by his email address. So for instance, if you want to reply to a message or if you want to reference a user, you will say at followed by the email address of the person, which will be really long, and it's impractical to use it. So in that way, by adding a username, it's a lot easier for the user to remember and the user to type. Okay, so this is just a bonus step, but it will make a lot your users. Your users will find it a lot easier to use your application, I thing. That's a weird thing to say, but yeah, just bear with me. So a new data type here. I'm gonna create a new data type called message, and basically we're gonna have only two additional data types. No, I'm sorry, two data fields. One is the body of the message, which is basically what the message is, and we're gonna also create another data field, which is the destination, which is essentially the to address. Okay, uh, now as you can see, this is a single. Okay, the destination can also be multiple fields, which is basically like if you want to send a message to multiple people, you can do that as well. Now you think you want to add a from field. You actually do not need to do that because as you can see by default, when you create the data type, the creator is actually automatically created for you, which is a built-in field. Now, basically, what it means is whoever created the message or whoever sent the message is basically the from address, right? So the creator is the from, and the destination is the to, and the body is what the message is. For now, I believe that this will be sufficient for us to begin building all of the stuff. First, for to be on the safer side, let's go ahead and create another data field for subject. I do not have that field as of right now, but let's add that as a type as text here. You know what? Let's change the name to subject here. Okay. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say from the name of the person. Okay. I'm just going to say name. All right. So also I'm going to make this bold using this highlighter. That's so as you can see. So simple stuff. All right. Let's go ahead and change this to something like 16. Make this big. Okay, so this is basically repetitive, the repeating group. I'm going to change the type of the content as message, and on the data source, you're going to be displaying all the messages. You know what? Let's go ahead and delete this stuff, and let me do it again for you guys. Okay, so basically, I'm going to choose the message data type that we just created, and we're going to do a search for all the messages that where the destination is equal to the current user. So, where's destination? Why is it not working here? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the destination is actually a user. Okay, I guess it makes sense now. I'm sorry about the mistake. All right, so let's go back to design here, and let's choose the destination as the current user. So I guess that makes sense now. And what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna change the text down to current sales messages subject. We don't have the field for that yet. So from what is the name of the person? So from the current sales messages, creators, username. If you have, for now, I will mention this email because on the sign up form, we don't have the field for username. So I don't want to repeat that thing out. So I'm gonna leave it like this. Okay. Let me center that vertically. Don't worry, this will not be so big because typically a message's subject is not this big and the email address is also not typically this big. Or you know what, let me reset this to 14. That will be sufficient, I guess. So yeah, this is the image that I added. Right now it's empty and I've made it round so it displays like a portrait image. So the dynamic image is going to be the current sales messages creators avatar. Basically, it's just gonna display from where from where this message is coming from. So, so for instance, the message is your visa details. So it's going to be a lot easier for the user to identify where the message is coming from. So yeah, so that's about the inbox here. This will display all the messages where you are the recipient of the thing. And what you want to do is you want to go to the conditional here, and you can see here I have added a drop down with two options: inbox and outbox. So by default, it's inbox. So what we're gonna do is on the conditional tab, we want to say when the drop down's categories value is outbox, you want to change the data source. Okay, you want to say the data source, do a search for, and you want to say message. Okay, before I continue, just copy this and paste it back again. You want to change the outbox now to inbox. Okay, now you would say by default it's inbox. Why do you want to change it to outbox? The reason is because when the user goes back to outbox and then checks back to goes back to inbox. I know it's confusing, but just bear with me. When it says when he goes back there, the default condition is not met, so he doesn't know what it is. So basically, what we're going to do is if the if the if the value here is outbox, we want to say you want to display all the messages where the created by is equal to the current user. Basically, where the message is sent by me is the outbox. Okay, that's the thing. And about the inbox, you want to display all the messages. That is again same thing. Destination is the current user. So basically, wherever I am the recipient of the message, you want to display that, and that's the case with the inbox. Okay. Okay, so now down to the message here. Now this is basically the type of the content will be message. Okay, no data source for now. Because this will be dynamically generated from the item that is being generated here. So the next thing is on the reply. I don't know if I've added it here. You know what? We're gonna add the subject field here. So let's go ahead and add that field here, real quick. Let me reduce the size of this field. Let's put this thing there, and which is it? Subject of your message. Of your message. Okay. So basically what we're going to do is, so the send button will send the message, but okay, so reply will open the thing here. Okay, just keep it that way. Now this will display the message here. So let's go ahead and say the parent group's message body. Okay, that's all. And the from address, let's make this bold. Okay, bold. Alright, so you want to say parent group's messages creators, okay, and okay, for now I would say email because I do not have the username field set up. Okay, I do have this field, but on the UI I am not allowing the user to enter his username because I started making this template really long time back, so I forgot to add that. But I'm gonna add this as email. Highly recommended you add username because that's gonna look a lot shorter and it's easier to remember, like I said. But this is only for the sake of demonstration. All right. So so once all of these values are hooked on, I don't really have the logic for it set up yet, but yeah, that's about it about the UI elements. So let's go ahead and create the functionality now. Let's go back to the first thing is to the reply message. Okay. Oh no, not the reply. But let's go to this one here. Okay. So what's going to happen is by default I'm going to set the visibility of this group to false. Okay. Next thing is I'm going to select this particular UI element, which is basically the whatever is the message here. I'm going to click on start a workflow. So as soon as I click on that, the first thing you want to do is you want to go to the element actions. Okay, on the action, or say display data. Okay, you want to display the where was that? Oh yeah, you want to this is the group, right? So you want to display that. You want to the data to be displayed is the current cell's message. So basically the data source of that group element. Okay, which one? This one here. Now this is the type of the content, is message. Now data source is empty because of course this data source in the group you cannot have multiple data items because that's the reason why it's called group and this is called repeating group. Okay, I guess now it makes sense, right? So basically the data source is going to be whatever is the item that is selected here. Now the information is going to come from here. So basically we're going to pull the creator's email from this part here. We're going to display the body on this UI element, but basically the data source is going to come from this part here. Okay. um, so yeah, that's that. So once the data is being displayed, uh, remember by default it's, I mean, the visibility is switched to false, right? So if you want to change that now, if you want to show that element, you want to click on the show here, and the element will be, let's go ahead and show that element now. By default its visibility is false. Now it's going to view here. So right now you'll be able to click on the message and display, but right now we don't have any ways to create a message. So yeah, so let's go ahead and add a reply. Okay, so I'm gonna click on reply here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the desk pop-up here, and one thing you want to do is you want to change the type of the content as the message. Okay, the data source can be empty for now. Okay, oh, you know what, you want to change the data source as the group message, so just want to change that to that, and just leave it like that. Okay, but anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on click on the reply here. This is an optional step. Oh, you know what, okay, let's omit that. Okay, let's go to element actions and click on the show. Okay, and you want to display the pop-up now when the reply is created. Okay, let's go to the pop-up back again, and let's click on the send button and create the function, the workflow for send button. Okay, start edit workflow, and click here to add action. You want to first create the data type, which is you want to create a new message, and you want to save three details. You want to save the body, the destination, and the subject. So basically the body of the message is basically on this field. So that value is, we're going to plug those UI elements to the data element, sorry, the data field. The destination is going to be, okay, now this thing is tricky, not tricky, but yeah, you have to concentrate on this part. So who is the destination? Now who are you going to send the message to? Basically whoever is the, you want to go to the parent group's message, to, alright, so this is trickier. What you want to check out is, okay, let me go back to the workflow here. Let's finish the subject here. Okay, subject is parent group's messages. Actually, no. Let's go back to the subject here. Insert dynamic data, subject value. Okay, now destination. Of course, you can say it's destination and proceed. All right, that's obviously understandable. But you know what? That is going to be working. Actually, you know what we're going to say is we're going to say only when the parent group's messages destination is not empty. Can you see that element there? Is not empty. You want to change that, and you want to change the destination now to parent group's messages creator. I'll tell you why. So basically, what we did now is basically just the um, is we defined the functionality for the reply. Okay, we don't have an option right now to compose a new message. Now this is basically reply. So if we're going to do a reply, the subject is going to be remaining as it is. So on the initial content, we're going to say parent group's messages subject, which basically means that there is a default subject there. So let's keep that as it is. So we defined the functionality for the reply. Now let's go ahead and I forgot to add a button for the compose message. How silly of me. Let's go ahead and add the button for the compose message. Okay. In this case, what I'm going to do now here is you know what? Let's go ahead and resize that. So I'm going to change that to compose. All right. And I'm probably going to resize this like this, okay, and the style to info button so it looks different. All right, so probably I'm gonna align this in the center. Yeah, I know it looks weird, but for now it's gonna look okay. So anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a different pop-up for this, okay, and of course for the sender, change this placeholder text to the parent group's messages destinations. I know. Oh, this is for reply, right? So creator's email. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and exit out of that. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate that. And what I'm gonna do now is let's go ahead and resize this now. Now this is the second. This is going to be for composing a new message. Now we're gonna have an additional field. Okay, the field is basically the recipient of the message. Okay, now this is you don't know who the destination is. Now this is the place we're gonna define the destination of your email. I mean of your message. So I'm gonna display the initial content is nothing. Basically, it's a new message. So yeah, placeholder is going to be the uh, to whoever is the address, and you're gonna change that to his email or username. Okay. All right. So email. In this case, it's email. I know it's difficult to understand with email, but like I said, if you change this to username, it is a lot better. Okay, it's really a lot better if you type if you change this as username. So yeah, all right, username. So I'm gonna click on the send here. Okay, you know what? Let me copy this placeholder text here, and I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to add. Okay, now destination can be actually pointed out in a number of ways. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use the drop down, and I'm going to change this style as dynamic style, the type of choices as user, and the choice source as the parent group's messages. Um, I'm sorry about the background noise there. I had to cut that down and then continue with this tutorial. Anyway, so let's continue. On the choice source, you have to say do a search for actually not the other way around. Choose the type as message here. I'm sorry, do a search for user here. And then you gotta close this up for now. Okay, so if you want to view only users who are logged in, you could. The one way you could do is choose users who are logged in. I think. Oh, you can't do that, right? So, anyways, that doesn't make sense over here. But yeah, type of like destination or no, to user to which user. Okay, now this is basically gonna display all the users who are in this website. That's kind of weird, but then if you try to compound this functionality upon your social network, you can actually filter down these results, like only display users who are the current user's friends. You can do that, but for that you will have to add. I mean, for that you'll need to build that functionality upon that feature, which is the social networking feature. But yeah, options caption, which is basically what text has to come here. Current options probably is email. Okay, and you can have his avatar name. And basically, this is going to be a simple drop down that's only going to have text. So it's going to display all the users' emails here. It's kind of weird. It's actually not the way to do it. But the reason I'm showing you guys how to do this, I mean, the reason I'm showing you guys this is because is I just wanted to tell you, like, again, I talk about that, but let me go back to this pop-up here. I'm gonna select the whole pop-up here, and on the data source, you're gonna select instead of all of this, you're gonna choose the drop down. Which drop down? Oh, you can do that. Okay, I'm gonna remove all the data source here. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to basically, uh, you know, I'm gonna just say send a message to new message. I'm gonna say use new message here, because basically you don't have the destination described yet. So you could say new message to the value that's in the drop down value. You could do that, but I don't want to do that because, well, it's not necessary. Let's go back to send here. And on the send, you gotta say create a new thing. Okay, and I'm gonna create a message here, basically body, destination, and subject. Destination right now is going to be the drop downs value. Subject is going to be basically subject is going to be the value that's in the sub thing here. Body, the multi-line inputs value. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and test this thing out, but before that, let me go ahead and add the functionality to reset the inputs. Basically, once I click on the submit, I don't. The next time I want to open, next time I want to compose an email, I don't want the old values to be reflected there again. So I want to reset the inputs every time I click on the send button. The next thing I want to do is I want to hide the this this one, and I wanted to copy this and go back to the other pop up. All right, so this one here, and then I'm going to add hide the this message here. Okay, so okay, I did forget one other step before I preview this, and that's the compose message doesn't have any workflow. So basically, it's not opening the right pop-up. So let's go ahead and do that first now. Element actions, we're going to basically show the right pop-up for the new message because compose message does not have a destination defined, but the reply message will not have the destination field. And the very simple reason is because if you go and check it out on the destination here, the to message is already coming from this group here. So basically, that's how it's going to work. Should be good to preview. Now let's go ahead and check this out here. So I added one user here. And I'm gonna add another user here because I want to send and receive messages. So I need two accounts, right? So I created one user with the name harsher.in, and I'm gonna create another one which is admin.com. So basically, I'm gonna sign up for an account now. As you know, by signing up, you'll go to the home page, which is blank. But I'm gonna go back to the messages now. Let's go ahead and send a message and go check that out from the other side. So on the inbox, everything is empty because, well, nobody sent any message yet. So let's go ahead and see this out. We have two users on this network here, as you can see. Right now, I'm on admin at admin.com, so I'm going to send a message here. So first message ever sent. So that's going to be the message here. Hola, it is working. I know it's a terrible thing to send for the first time. So it's send. You can have another pop-up saying the message got sent, whatever you want to give us some acknowledgement. But let's go and check out Outbox now. As you can see here, the message comes here, and if you want to reply, it will go back to admin@admin.com. So I'm basically going to be replying to my own self now. The inbox is also working. So I'm just checking it out here. Send. As you can see, the message has come here and the inbox is working. Let's go check out on the logout here. You can add some, using constraints, you can allow the user to not be able to send messages to himself. So you can disable the button or whatever. So I'm gonna like hasher.in. Right, I'm gonna like log into my other account and check that out. Another messages. Inbox, you can see the message that has come from it. Hey, it's working. So I'm gonna go back and message to this guy here. Hey, from the other side. Now you can see that this is how private messaging works. You can on the box, you can see all the messages that I created. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video and you found this video useful, please be sure to hit subscribe, like my video, and I shall see you guys in another video very soon.